This is Michigan embedded correspondent John Solberg, and you are listening to the BBQ Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Good evening and welcome to the Really Big BBQ Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. Originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings. Live fire, fun, and throughout the show. If you want to jump in this evening, more than happy to have you. Phone calls and emails are not only encouraged, they are recommended. Here's how you do it.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966. Email Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. On the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Everything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening coming up in about 12 minutes from now. It's the second Tuesday of the month, and you know what that means. A monthly visit from the creator of the most heavily trafficked barbecue and grilling website to be found anywhere in the country and world. Of course, Meathead from AmazingRibs.com will be joining us tonight. We will briefly be touching on the subject of shrimp, and we will spend the lion's share of the evening talking about burgers, all kinds of burger information, burger grinding, not grinding burgers, cooking burgers, flat tops and grills and grill grates and save cooking temperatures, toppings, fixins, eatins, and everything in between. So if you have been looking to brush up on your burger game, you have happened to come across the best show at this point in time during the grilling season. That being Meathead's monthly visit here on the second Tuesday. He will, of course, carry the second hour as well. So if you have any phone calls or emails in the meantime, jump in and let us know. 216-220-0966 or Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. And then we'll move to the second hour. We will find first-time guest and new charcoal purveyor to the industry. His name is Regis Newrourke, and he is the founder and pimper of a brand called Jerk Charcoal. And I'm not talking about Jerk like Steve Martin. I don't know if that's a outdated reference at this point, but I'm pretty sure my crowd understands the genius and movie genius of one Steve Martin. The Jerk Charcoal. You see where I'm going with this. So we'll talk to Regis about starting the brand, what his background was, how he got into the charcoal business, why anybody would want to get into the charcoal business, given the likes of Royal Oak and Kingsford and a few others that are really the big players in the game. And over the course of this life of show, I have seen a number of upstart charcoal manufacturers come, summarily go. Some will stick it out for a reasonable amount of time, but they never seem to last. So we'll see what's going on with Regis and what his plans are for getting roots into the ground and then growing as years pass. And then for the remainder of the second hour will be an open segment. We will reprise the Grandpa Rempe readings of the most historic reference material ever written on horse meat, which is called Processing, Cooking, and Buying Horse Meat for Human Consumption. Of course, we all know by now this was written by Leon Kenny, and at the time of print, which is copyright 1952, this was going for a whopping 25 cents per copy, and it's my kind of book because it's 17 pages. And it's not even a whole 17 pages, everybody. It's like 16 and a half, maybe pushing 16 and 3/4. So it's right up my alley when it comes to book size. And you have a chance during that open segment for winning Mike Lang's new book, One Beer Grilling. That is out just today. It is hitting platforms, patios, and back decks as we speak. 5/11 was the day that it is supposed to land if you did the pre-order, but you can also go over to his website, pick up a copy, but you'll have your chance to win one in the second hour as well. So if that is not enough, I don't know what to tell you. Find another show that packs more info and entertainment into 2 hours than I do, and you'll be a happy camper. 216-220-0966, Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, Insta, Twitter, TikTok, and the Snaps at BBQ Central Show for a live video feed. You can also go over to Facebook or Twitch/BBQ Central Show. You can also find a live video feed over on YouTube, which is /RD Rempe. Right off the bat, let's go to a programming note. At 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, I will be doing a special live show.
We'll do it live.
That's right. We will do it live. It is a special live show where I will be joined by Emily Park, who is the events manager at the World Series of Barbecue for the American Royal. And we will reveal the 9 finalists for this year's 2021 Barbecue Hall of Fame. This will be the 3rd year that we have this synergy going, the 2nd year in a row, where we will be doing 2 special shows, one announcing the 9 finalists, and then in this particular case, usually there's a 3-week in between, but there will be a 2-week in between. So on the 26th, you can come back on that Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and you will find the announcement live here on this show.
We'll do it live.
That's right. We will do it live. For the 3 folks making up the 2021 class, you will also get to hear who is making it into the legacy members portion of the Barbecue Hall of Fame. So get your bets ready. We're not doing any betting tonight. I don't know anybody that's on the list. That's a lie. I do know one person that's on this list, but that's all I know. No names, please. But the other 8, I have no idea on. I had dinner with Daniel Vaughn, who's on the names committee, a few weeks ago when I was in Texas going to a day job thing in Denton, and I tried and tried to squeeze names out of him, but he was unrelenting. So I quickly gave up hope, and that was that. So we'll see what the names are or who the names are tomorrow at 1 p.m. So make sure that you set your records, clocks, times, and however else one remembers to do something anymore. For a 1 p.m., you will get the live audio and the live video themes in your normal places as you do here on Tuesday. So join me and Emily Park from the American Royal as we reveal the 9 finalists for this year's class of the 2021 Barbecue Hall of Fame. Listener feedback. Jim in Pennsylvania writes, Greg, I have resisted writing in for weeks, but tonight I was finally compelled to do so. Can I ask why you seem to go out of your way to say frivolity in the way that you do? You have a great command of the English language. I'm not giving a great example of that right now, Jim. I apologize. You have a great example. You have a great command of the English language, and you enunciate everything so well. What gives with the frivolity? I ask with peace and love, of course. Peace and love. Love the show.
Peace and love.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Love.
Peace and love to you as well. I mean, why do I say frivolity the way that I say frivolity? It's fun. Do you realize, Jim, how long I have said frivolity the way that I have said frivolity? Your Tuesday evenings, live fire, fun and frivolity show. Months and months. Nobody has said anything. I've done it on purpose. And obviously, Jim, I have pushed you over the proverbial edge last week when I came in with the live fire, fun and frivolity show portion, and you had to pen me the email. I just say it for fun. I mean, anybody can say frivolity. Anybody can say that. Some other shows, as I had mentioned last week, try to steal live fire, fun, and frivolity right out from under me. But they don't say frivolity because I'm really one of the only ones that can enunciate that properly and have it stick in your mind going, why in the hell is he saying it like that? And just that word. It's so annoying. I did it just for you, Jim, and you finally caught me in it. So congratulations. Brian in Maine writes the show. Greg, love the show, but wait a second, Brian. We don't write emails like that. We say love the show and never but, because what you're about to say now could mean that you don't actually love the show at all, but we will take all that into account as I continue. Greg, love the show, but things that didn't need a season 2 after the conclusion of season 1 include at the top of the list season 2 of American Idol Barbecue Central Show Edition. If you call that singing, then I'm praying for death before the end of this month. In a word, stop. Brian, what do you say? That the American Idol Barbecue Central Show Edition is not providing superior singing talent by the likes of me, embedded correspondents Rusty Monson, Doug Scheiding, John Solberg, and returning champion Jeff Rice? We're not giving you the singing quality that you need, Brian? So much so that you're praying for death before the end of the month. How about this? Don't die, just don't tune in at the end of the month. But you're going to want to. I've recorded 2 songs that I'm trying to pick from. They're so good. Thank you for writing in, Brian. I'll talk to you quickly about Pits and Spits before we get to Meathead. Handcrafting smokers and grills in Houston, Texas in that time. Establishing itself as one of the premier brands in high-quality offset smokers and more recently pellet cookers. Pits and Spits setting itself apart by using heavy 7 and 10 gauge stainless in every cooker, fully welded construction that you can feel when you use the unit. 304 stainless roll top lid and front shelf on every single smoker. So why does it matter? Well, by using higher quality materials, you get a smoker that reaches and maintains temperatures, allowing you to worry more about the meat than the heat. And by providing a fully welded smoker, you don't have to worry about grease and smoke leaking out of the chamber. Also, that grill isn't going to rattle apart as you move it through the backyard. And by using 304 stainless, you're getting an heirloom quality piece of equipment that you can pass down for generations to come. Now, where some companies focus on being a low-cost provider, Pits and Spits focuses on craftsmanship and using quality materials. Are there cheaper ways to make these products? Absolutely. Do they like tack welds, cheap stainless, and electronics that you can't trust? Absolutely not. Having in-house manufacturing gives them complete control of the design and standards, not something you find brought in from overseas. Their steel suppliers supply material to be used in some of the harshest environments around, so they will perform in any and all conditions, and their controllers are made right here in the States, so they have unimpeded transparency into the programming. Pits and Spits has a dealer network across the country. If there isn't one close to you, feel free to give Coy a call at the shop, 844-650-6250. That's 844-650-6250. Whether you're a backyard grill master or a competition team looking to do 50 racks of ribs, Pits and Spits has a product for you. You can check them out at pitsandspits.com, all spelled out at their website, or check them out in the wild across social media with their handle at Pits and Spits. And they sell really great pellet cookers that people are buying up by the truckload. So if you're in for high-end pellet cookers, check out the Pits and Spits, pitsandspits.com, or at Pits and Spits. We're back with Meathead right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by the Barbecue Guru, creators of automatic pit temperature control technology, sellers of ceramic cookers with built-in power draft fans and accessories to make your barbecue and grilling life easier. Visit bbqguru.com for more information, or call them 800-288-GURU. The Barbecue Guru continues to be a breakthrough in barbecue technology. All right, you know what that means. It's one of the most prolific theme songs and walk-up songs that you ever hear. once a month here on the show. And that, of course, means we have a visit from none other than show favorite Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Hey, Meathead.
Hey, hello, Greg, and hello, Centralites. Now, Greg,
Yes?
you dodged the answer. I know why you say frivolity the way you do.
Frivolity?
That's the Harry Carey accent.
Well, I would say mostly astute, but for some reason, it is not something that I am keenly aware that I might be mimicking. I'm just saying
Of
it like
course you are.
a tool, but it is. It's not hey frivolity, everybody, but it's a little
you
bit
go.
more. Yeah. Hey.
For listeners who don't know the history here,
Oh my.
Greg does a wonderful imitation of the great baseball broadcaster who did both the Cubs and the Sox at various times, Harry Carey. And Greg used to do it regularly on the air
Yes.
in his youth and childhood. And it sounds like the only thing remaining of that imitation is frivolity. I can't even say it.
Yeah, it's
There you
tough.
go. There you
it's
go.
tough. Jim called me
And
out
you
on
said-
it from Pittsburgh.
You said you've written a couple of songs. I tuned in early just because I had nothing better to do.
Yes.
And I heard a song about Sherry.
Oh dear.
Is that one of the songs you've written?
You heard that?
Yes.
I didn't. Think
I hope
that
your
was...
wife and daughters have never
wait,
heard that.
No. I know why you heard that. Okay, you had linked in to the interface, so that wasn't going out.
I don't
over.
know.
I'm telling you.
All
right
I know
now.
is I'm sitting here
yes,
and my
yes.
jaws are dropping. Is that your idea of songwriting?
Well, here's the.
And who, pray
Oh,
tell,
all right,
is
look,
Sherry?
Of course, out of anybody, I know, Meathead, you are waiting with bated breath to hear who Sherry is. No doubt about it. But all I have to say is this: it has been taken wildly out of context, and the only reason that you heard that is because you were in the green room early. That did not go out over Facebook
That's
or
just a green room song?
YouTube. That was only a green room hearing that you heard. So
Okay.
let's just say that.
Not much embarrasses me, but I'd appreciate if that wasn't in the green room next month.
Really? You didn't think this was funny?
Yeah, borderline.
All right. I won't go ahead and play that. But
I'm
yeah,
getting to be an old.
so
an
what I
old
need
fuddy-duddy.
to do off air is explain why that's funny, because hearing it the way you heard it is just potentially very raucous.
Raucous? Okay, we'll use that word
Yes, raucous.
incorrectly.
Blue. It's a little blue.
But yeah, mhm.
Yeah. All right.
Royal blue.
Royal blue, yes. All right. I'll explain it to you. It'll make way more sense after the fact. But hearing it out of context is a
One
little
more
odd.
topic that you covered in the intro, and that's
All right.
the announcement tomorrow about the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And you say you have no idea of who's going to be in there.
Well,
Well,
they did say
nobody
I
knows
knew
for
one.
sure, I don't think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's take a look at the list of people who were nominated last year that didn't get in.
All right. Did you keep
And that's
a list?
probably where they're going to start, don't you think?
I don't have any idea how it all works, to be honest. So I mean, I would imagine. Well, that's a lie. I mean, I do understand how it works. So if you were on a finals list, or you made that semi-final list of 9, let's call it. I don't even know what we're supposed to call it, but let's just say it's a list of 9 finalists, 3 of which
Yeah.
will be voted on and make up the Barbecue Hall of Fame for 2021.
Right.
All of those names, holding the 3 that got in, are wiped off and thrown back into the main hopper. So none of those names, which would be 6, immediately carry over into automatically making it into the semifinal or to the finals list again. They have to be brought back up.
Mhm.
They have to be agreed upon. And then, in essence, it's almost very complimentary that you would be brought up and then picked back on that list, especially if one didn't make it 1 or 2 years or 3 years in a row or whatever.
Well, my guess is that if you were good enough to be nominated last year,
Yeah.
but not good enough to get in, that you're probably got a good chance to get in, to get on that 9 list. Whether you get in or not, I don't know. And I have the list of the 6
All right.
who were nominated last year that didn't get in.
Let's hear
And
it.
I think it's a pretty stellar list, and there's a good chance some of these folks will be on the list again tomorrow, if not inducted.
Okay. Let's hear the list.
Well, Rodney Scott, the whole hog legend from South Carolina. He's been opening more restaurants.
Book
He's
writer
a
now?
television star. He knows whole hog as well as anybody in the country.
Sure.
John Marcus, the guy who invented the Barbecue Pitmasters show on television, which has spawned numerous imitators. Bill Arnold, a guy who invented the Blues Hog barbecue sauce, which is widely imitated and very popular on the barbecue circuit. Darren Warth, probably the best cook on the circuit right now. I don't know if he's won Team of the Year recently, but he just keeps winning and winning and winning. And I've tasted all of his meats, and my God, that man can cook. Out of Iowa, Smokey D's Barbecue in Des Moines.
Yep.
And then finally, Leanne Whippen. Leanne is the managing partner of the Deviled Pig restaurant in Tampa, a popular competitor on several barbecue competition shows, including Barbecue Pitmasters. Oh, and I said finally, there's some other guy named Meathead who made that list last year.
Yeah, we like
and he
Meathead.
made the list the year before.
Yeah.
He's the Susan Lucci of Barbecue Hall of Fame.
It's just an
Many
honor to be
times
nominated, right, Meathead? It's
never,
just an honor.
never inducted.
Always an honor, right?
It is an honor, but geez, I'd like to make it in.
All right, so holding yourself aside, because obviously you would like to see yourself in the Barbecue Hall of Fame, and you've made no bones about it. Do you have three of the other names in that list that you would pick if you had a vote, or if you could just unilaterally put people in this year off that list?
No. I would think Rodney Scott's got a good shot. He really knows barbecue, pork, very well respected, very well liked. I would think that I don't know. I would put John Marcus in there, but his major claim to fame was inventing a television barbecue competition and doing, directing and producing it for a couple of seasons or more than that. He does a lot of charity work. I'm not sure his record is huge, but my God, barbecue TV is just, he invented it. Darren Warth, a brilliant cook. I think that they're all worthy. It'll be interesting to see how many of them get nominated tomorrow and if any of them make it in.
Well, I'll be certainly interested to see how many make it back on the list, if any. I do know at least one of these people that you've mentioned do make it back on this list. It's the only name I was able to draw out of Daniel Vaughn, but he was unrelenting when I was down in Texas a couple weeks ago, and we shared a meal together before I went.
You lied. You said he didn't tell you anything.
Oh, you didn't listen fully to the open. I said, now wait a second. I'm not telling you the truth. I got one name out of him, but no names, please. I'm not going to tell you who it is. And I could not get any other names out of him. So
all right.
I will be interested
Well,
to see
I can wait
how
24 hours.
Yeah, that's right. So tune in 1 p.m., as I had mentioned at the top, and we will announce.
Oh, it's at 1 o'clock?
Yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern. So that will be noon for you, I think, right?
I can do that.
Is that not right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central, and work your time zones back from there.
Speaking of which, I'm going to be on Clubhouse at 4 p.m. Eastern time with a member of the Barbecue Hall of Fame, Stephen Rakeland. Stephen and I and Chef Elizabeth Carmel are Elizabeth and I are on every Wednesday on Clubhouse at 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern for about an hour. And we just talk about a topic. But Rakeland is on tomorrow to talk about his new book. Have you discussed it with him yet? The Grilling Vegetables book?
Meathead, how dare you?
Uh-oh. Okay,
What
so
do
you
mean?
have.
I mean,
Of
I
course
knew
you
about
have.
it when it was just in the writing stage. We've done many interviews on how its progress is made. There's a guy here in Cleveland that is in the book about vegetable charcuterie called The Larder Delicatessen, Jeremy Umansky, and I gave away 2 copies last week. I mean, I'm well steeped in Stephen. By the way, I don't want to sit here and correct Meathead, but just to save yourself the embarrassment tomorrow, it's Stephen Reichland, and he will correct you. It's not Reichland.
What'd I say, Reichland?
You said Reichland. A lot of people butcher it even worse than that, but it is Reichland, and I have been taught the right way to say it. So let me help you now and save a little face in advance.
Okay, I will get it right tomorrow. But Stephen, he is the maestro.
Yep.
And
I might do Danielle Bennett, Diva Q.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So she's got the biggest barbecue clubhouse or whatever you call that, the group or rooms or whatever. There's followers and whatever to the room.
I wonder. So, I think we've got quite a few. Elizabeth and I have been doing it for about 2 months. On Wednesday at 4:00 Eastern.
Yes.
We got a couple hundred followers. They don't all show up though.
Of course. Well, I mean, I'm just learning all about it, so I don't even know the right terminology.
It's like Facebook Live, only instead of typing your questions, you can ask aloud.
And it's all audio, and it's not archived, from what I understand. So,
and there's no video.
I thought about doing something called The Wrap on Wednesdays at some point, where we recap the show from the night before with a couple moderators.
Oh, God, I thought you were going to ask me if I could rap.
Can you?
Hell no.
I was going to say, I'll put on a backing track and we'll hear you freestyle for us. It would be great. And maybe next year you can join us for season 3 of the American Idol's Barbecue Central Show edition.
I couldn't sing my way out of a paper bag, carry a tune in a paper bag.
All right. Well off track here, Meathead. So let's go ahead and firmly place the wheels back on the rails. And speaking about Clubhouse, yesterday the topic du jour from Diva Q's room was shrimp. And I asked if you had any interest in shrimp, barbecue shrimp.
Oh, shrimp.
Yes.
Shrimp, yeah.
So what do you know about shrimp, aside from I learned that you are, I guess, allergic, so you're probably not a big eater of that, but I would assume that's something that people talk about.
I was raised in Florida, and shrimp was, on the menu often. We used it for bait. We caught everything on shrimp. I used to cook quite a lot. And then about 20 years ago, I had some soft-shell crab. And my throat swelled up, and I could barely talk. And about a couple of weeks later, I had some lobster, and same response. And it became pretty clear that the bugs, shrimp, crab, lobster, and crawfish, I had an allergy. I developed it late in life. I'm told that that's not unusual.
It's not.
That it's probably related. Yeah, your mom too?
Yes.
It could be fatal if you can go into anaphylaxis. I didn't let that deter me because I was working on my last book. I wanted some shellfish recipes in there. And one day I was grilling some shrimp, and just the vapors from the grilling made my eyes swell shut. So I haven't cooked shrimp in a long time, but that doesn't mean I don't know a little bit about it. And I can share some of the things that I know, I remember, and that I've heard from others and that I've read elsewhere that I might be able to share with you guys.
All right. Give us some cooking tips or ways that seem to be the most popular.
Well, let's start with buying shrimp.
All right. Yes. Oh, yes.
I think it's generally considered that your Gulf of Mexico shrimp are some of the best, and that there's a great deal of shrimp coming in from Thailand that is grown under slave conditions, under very difficult conditions, very little regulation in the feed and the water quality. And so the general impression I'm hearing out there is try to find out the source, try to get Gulf of Mexico shrimp, and try to avoid shrimp from the Far East. A lot of food, not just shrimp, turkey, everything else, sometimes it's best to get frozen. If you buy fresh shrimp, well, you're in Cleveland. You buy fresh shrimp in Cleveland, that means it's caught at sea one day, and it may spend a day in the hold of the ship on ice. Then it gets brought into the warehouse where they're sorted by size and packaged and bagged and shipped to Cleveland, and then it's distributed to the stores, and it may sit there for a day or two. So by the time you buy fresh, unfrozen shrimp, it could possibly be a week or more old. In those cases, it may be better to buy shrimp. And I say the same is true for turkey. At Thanksgiving, there's a lot of fresh turkey. If you can get fresh shrimp or shrimp that is frozen, fast frozen at sea, that may be a better strategy than getting fresh, unfrozen. Same thing with turkey. Get it fresh or get it fast frozen, and you may end up with a higher quality. I always chose larger shrimp than smaller shrimp because the small shrimp cooks so fast, and it gives you so little room to make mistakes. Larger anything. I mean, brisket. You've got it takes longer to cook. It's harder to overcook. So big shrimps if you can, and their measurement systems is really weird. If you buy something called 31/35 or 31/35, it means there's 31 to 35 shrimps per pound.
Yep.
And that they call medium, and sometimes large. The sizes large, medium, colossal are kind of like condoms. You buy a condom, colossal.
Magnum.
Yeah, right. Nobody's going to go and say, I need a small. Nobody's going to.
Right.
And so, but I think, you get your large ones. There's evidence, the shrimp cooks that I really know say that it's better to cook with the shell on, that you get more flavor.
Yep.
But there's a vein. It's actually the digestive system that runs through the tail, and it can collect sand and other things that you don't want to eat. And a lot of people prefer to get that out. It's pretty easy to get out. I've got pictures of how to do that on AmazingRibs.com. But to get it out, you have to snip the tail open or remove the tail. It gets a little tricky. So if you can't really see the vein or the digestive system, you can leave it in and cook it with the tail on. Something else that's really good about shrimp is it really absorbs marinades well. It's classic that it's often done in tequila, but the problem with alcohol is it really affects the protein, but it absorbs marinades well and flavors, dry rubs, seasoning. And you can just toss them on the grill, but then you got to go flip. It's a good technique to skewer them. You put 2 skewers so you can just flip them over like a raft, and that's a really good technique. And I used to, when I did a stage at a French restaurant once for about 6 months, and I was really poor. I was a college student, and I would save all the shells and legs from the lobsters and bring them home and make lobster bisque out of them. And you can do the same thing with shrimp. You make up a whole mess of shrimp. Just save the legs and the shells and simmer them. And you make a really good bisque out of those with a little cream and some tarragon, some butter. Nice eating.
So you are not down on frozen shrimp, and typically I get frozen shrimp. To be honest, I'm not a fully abreast consumer and looking to see where my shrimp is coming from. So maybe I should do that and steer away from the Vietnamese shrimp and the Taiwanian shrimp, or whatever you were talking about. So I should be a little bit more educated in that regard. But frozen shrimp is okay. And when I was in that clubhouse conversation yesterday, some of the folks were saying that because of its frozen state, that it will actually potentially keep the shrimp more moist because it is exuding some water through the cooking process and giving it a bit of a barrier of some degree.
I don't know about that. We know that when you freeze meat, and shrimp, fish, I don't care what they say, it's meat. It's muscle. When you freeze muscle, which is typically, like chicken is 70-75% water. Shrimp is like 90% water. When you freeze it, if you freeze it slowly, the water turns into ice crystals, which are larger than the water molecules, and they're jagged, they're sharp, and they puncture the muscle fibers, and then you have what they call purge. Liquid comes out. But if you rapid freeze, very, very cold, rapid freeze, surrounded by, not just pile them up in a pile, but put them on a screen so cold air can surround them on all sides, very cold. And again, the same thing goes for turkey, chicken, or other meats. Then you get smaller ice crystals. There's not as much puncturing, not as much purge. And I don't think there's a significant loss in quality. And I think in some cases it'll be better because it's caught and then frozen in a wonderfully fresh state, and rather than go through all the process of shipping cross country. Now, if you live in New Orleans or on the Gulf Coast of Florida, obviously you want to buy fresh shrimp if you can get it, because it's likely just a day or two old.
Meathead from AmazingRibs.com joining us here on the show. You can find him at AmazingRibs.com. Meathead, stand by, and we will pick up the burger talk when we get back. And you stay tuned. And we'll talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills, pellet cookers, right? We love pellet cookers. Everybody is buying pellet cookers, taking the world by storm still. If you're looking to add one to the arsenal this season, why not check out Green Mountain Grills, selling through dealers. So go to greenmountaingrills.com and check out where the nearest dealer is to you. Then go ahead and visit that dealer and get the lowdown on all the different models that they are currently offering. A Choice line and a Prime Plus line currently. The Choice line is entry model. If you want to save a couple $100, you can do that with your Choice line. You don't get the app accessibility. You don't get a Wi-Fi technology. You don't get internal meat probes or fancy windows to look inside the thing. However, it's still the same size as the Prime Plus. It still fits the pizza oven insert that I talk to you about each and every week. Now, if you want to be with all of the current technical capabilities that a lot of these other cookers out there have, then get the Prime Plus line. You can get 2 internal meat probes. That comes standard. You can get peek-in windows on the cooking chamber and on the pellet hopper. You also get Wi-Fi connectivity, and you can do everything through an app interface like a lot of the other cookers out there can do currently. So go to greenmountaingrills.com and check it all out. Again, the Prime line, a little bit more of a robust build. You get a front shelf, a couple other things Choice line doesn't have, but it's certainly up to you, your budget, what you're looking for. But both of them are great cookers. I have both lines. I still use both lines. Very good. greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. Also selling pellets and sauces and rubs and other accessories to complete your Green Mountain Grill experience. greenmountaingrills.com. Find a dealer near you, and then off you go. Success right off the bat. More with Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the #1 most downloaded barbecue and grilling podcast anywhere. The Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And this portion being brought to you by cookinpellets.com. We just talked about Green Mountain pellet grills. You can go to cookinpellets.com and fire that Green Mountain grill or any pellet grill that you currently have, your #1 source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. Visit cookinpellets.com for more info or to purchase. That's cookinpellets.com, and we are rejoined by Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. All right, Meathead. Let's talk about burgers, one of my favorite things. Oh, boy, I love burgers. I think I could eat burgers
Boy, do I.
every night for dinner, perhaps even for lunch and dinner, 7 days a week. I love them in all forms and fashions. Hold the onion, of course. Where should we start with burger talk? Should we talk about, like, the history of the burger? Should we talk about regionalities of burgers? Or should we just jump right into making
Let's talk about how to
cooking
make
and all
burgers.
That?
I
All right,
think-
let's do that.
You know, we'll run 2 hours if we start getting into the history, which is disputed, and the regional styles, which aren't as identifiable as hot dogs. Hot dogs has very distinct regional styles.
Yes.
Burgers would be more restaurant to restaurant specialties. I was thinking about this when you said you'd like to talk about burgers tonight, and I was thinking, I think learning to master burgers was a bigger mountain to climb for me than brisket, than anything, because it really is hard to nail it. There are just so many possible ways you can screw up a burger, and there are so many variables to getting it right. So, I worked really hard, and it was interesting about, halfway through my journey into burgers, it dawned on me that what I was striving for was I had this platonic vision of the perfect burger in my head. And as I was talking with friends, it turns out they have them too. You probably have one, Greg, somewhere in your background. You had that burger that just blew you away. You saw God, didn't you?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
It was a dark and stormy night. No. So this literally just happened. So prior to having my best burger ever, the burger that I'm about to explain to you, which is now the second best burger, everybody's going to laugh at. And I found, I want to learn more about grinding my own meat and getting a grinder and doing all that stuff that we're going to talk about. The best burger I have had prior to 2 weeks ago has been a Bubba burger, the frozen brown box burger. And it's because I took the time and figured out how to perfectly cook those patties, maintain most of the weight and the shape, little color inside, super juicy, the way they blend those burgers with the fat. I mean, they got a lot of fat in there too. They were just magical. And I knew I could turn on my Weber gas grill. I could just put it to medium heat, whatever that came to on the rotary dial, whatever. But I knew the heat was the same. And I could put them on in 4 minutes and 15 seconds. I would flip them over. At 4 minutes, I would put cheese on top, let them go for another 30 seconds. Off you go, stack them up. And they were perfect every single time. And it's been like that for 10 years that I've been eating Bubba burgers. And I don't even know why I had a Bubba burger in the first place. And I probably felt really cheap and slutty when I had those Bubba burgers. But man, oh man, they are so delicious. And everybody I tell to try Bubba burger, after they get done making fun of me and they try it, call me back and go, "Look, don't tell anybody. Those are some really fucking good burgers." I was like, I know. Sing it from the rooftop. However,
I'm going to try it.
That being said, when I was at Knife Restaurant in Dallas with Daniel Vaughn 2 weeks ago,
I heard about this.
We had the Ozerski burger.
Josh Ozerski,
yes, Josh Ozerski,
the legendary meat man from New York,
lauded,
whom I knew very well,
yep,
who called me the night he died, asking me if I would get together with him for a few drinks.
Really?
And it was late, and I said, no, I can't make it.
What?
Yep.
That night?
Yeah, I wrote the story. The story's on AmazingRibs.com. He was in Chicago for the James Beard Awards. And he called me up, and it was late, and I bowed out, and I lost him.
Holy moly! What a story!
Yeah, he knew meat better than anybody, and he knew burgers better than anybody.
Yeah. So Knife makes a tribute burger to him called the Ozerski burger, and I don't know exactly what's in the blend, but once again, I think when it comes to burgers, you can so easily get sidetracked into throwing everything in the kitchen sink on top of a burger, and basically you lose the essence of the burger, but they don't do that here. It has quickly fleshed, griddled onions on the bottom, and then a perfectly, probably a little over medium rare burger because whatever blend that they're making, I'm sure they're keeping it safe. And then it's a slice of American cheese on top, a nice brioche bun, and the flavors just worked so well in its simplicity. And it was just masterfully cooked. And I mean, again, it sounds so simple, and like there should be 50
Mhm.
other things on top of this in order to put the burger over the top.
Mhm.
But that burger that night changed my burger life to this point. And before that, it was Bubba Burgers.
Well, let's figure out how to do it. I think the first step in the process is decide if you want to do a diner burger, which is which is my fancy name for quarter pounder, a little thin puck, or a steakhouse burger, which is 6 to 8 ounces, or as much as 9 ounces. That's right where you got to start. The crucial question. You know, everybody raves about In and Out and Steak and Shake and Five Guys and everything. These are all quarter pounders. And when you get right down to it, they're all well done. They may have some nice brown Maillard on the outside, but what makes them really work is all the junk that they put on them. The secret sauce, the shredded lettuce, the chopped tomato, the pickle, the bun with the sesame, and all that stuff. They're fine, and I enjoy them, but they don't really send me like the steakhouse burger. I mean, a 6 to 8 ounce burger, you're going to get beefy flavor, and the meat is going to dominate every bite rather than get lost among all the toppings. Now, when you do your Bubba burgers, those are quarter pounders?
Yes.
And do you do single or double?
I do double for mine, but everybody else eats just a single patty, and they're very happy with it.
Okay. So I think that's your first question out there is, are you going to do a steakhouse burger or a diner burger? If you're going to do a diner burger, to get max flavor, the secret is to get a great Maillard or brown coating all around. And the answer to that is a smash burger. You make your quarter pound ball, and you roll it up in a ball, a little bigger than a golf ball, and you put a griddle on the grill, either a cast iron pan or a cast iron griddle, or stainless steel. There's a strong argument to be made for stainless steel griddles. And you take that ball and you whang it right down on there, and you leave it sit there for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then you smash it with your or you don't really smash it. You press it hard with your spatula or one of those things that they use for spreading plaster on a wall. You just want to smash it so that the meat stretches out and you get really good intimate contact with the surface of the hot pan. 350 to 375 for the griddle is your target temperature. That's what the best fast food joints shoot for on their griddles. And you turn it when you've got the right color brown. Now, one of the things you want to ask is mix-ins. A lot of people put things like Worcestershire sauce, onions,
Yep.
and now you're moving from burger into meatloaf. I don't mind putting a little onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper in there, but don't put salt in your burger. The salt we know is the magic rock, and salt does wonderful things to muscle meats, but on ground meats, it can make it very firm, very hard, very chewy, and it can cause excess water loss. So you want to wait until just before you put it on the grill to sprinkle the salt on top, or both sides if you want. So don't mix it in, but put it on or under or both sides of the burger. Now, for the steakhouse burger, I think it's a really good technique to grind your own. Now, there's a really interesting question that comes up about what level of doneness you want. Medium rare, 130, 135. It's kind of rosy inside. Medium, it's pink inside. The USDA wants you to cook it to 155 when it's well done and tan inside. There's a really good safety issue here to think about, and that is, do you feel lucky today? E. coli is a problem with all ground meats, particularly burgers. And if you want to cook it to a safe temp of 150, 155, you're going to run the risk of drying it out. And the way you combat that is more fat. The moisture in a burger that's vital is not water, it's fat. So you want to get a burger that is a minimum of 80-20 blend. A lot of ground beef in the grocery store is 15% fat. You may want to push it as high as 30, especially if you're going to cook it to 155. And if you do, you won't notice that it's gray in the center if you've got enough fat in the blend. And if there isn't, next time you do brisket, save some of the fat you've trimmed off. It freezes well, and you can just grind that and mix it into your burger. Do not, when you buy ground beef at the store, buy something called ground beef or hamburger. If it's labeled ground beef or hamburger, it's lips and assholes, hearts and penises. You want to buy ground chuck, ground sirloin. It should give you the name of the cut. Chuck is a common blend, even in a lot of really good restaurant burgers, because it tends to be about 80-20, and it's very flavorful. So you could just go down to your burgers, to your meat department, and look for a chuck steak or a chuck roast, and you know, pick something that looks about 80-20 and take it home and grind it yourself. Home grinders are not expensive.
No.
You don't need anything fancy with a motor. The hand crank grinders that they sell on Amazon for $20-30 work just great, and you need the coarse holes, not the fine holes. You want to grind it coarse. And if you want to mix in some of those flavorings, okay, but don't go crazy with the mix-ins. Now, if you want extra fat and you don't have any burger meat laying around and you want to kind of jazz a burger up, grind in some raw bacon.
Raw bacon.
Bacon.
All right.
Bacon. Bacon, 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 bacon. Bacon really amps up the flavor. It's got salt in it, but it's not the salt is not in with the fibers of the meat. So it's got all that smoke flavor. I mean, everything you love about bacon. And I've played with it. Don't use more than 10 to 15% bacon. Otherwise, the burger will fall apart. But it really is a nice touch. It's a bacon burger, except instead of putting the bacon on top, it's mixed right in. It works really nicely.
Meathead, let me interrupt you just for 1 second because I have made an error, and I just want to point it out. Bubba Burgers are 6 1/3 pound burgers in a package, not quarter pounders.
1/3 pound.
They are 1/3 pound, so a little bigger.
Okay. So that's nice size. Well, let's see. I can't do math in my head anymore. Where's my calculator? 16 ounces is a pound. Divided by 3 is 5.3 ounces.
Yes.
So that's a nice size. That's just under what I call a steakhouse burger. 6 ounces is where I draw the line, but that's just, you've got some substance there. It's a little thicker than those hockey pucks. That gives me courage to try one. Something else you might play with, and I know this is going to get some people upset, but MSG amplifies food flavors. It's a natural product. Well, what the shaker is not. It's manufactured, but people who go, oh no, it's chemistry. I mean, MSG exists in a lot of foods we eat all by themselves, in cheeses, in tomatoes, in mushrooms. MSG is a nice addition, and it does amplify flavor. It's like turning the dial up to 11. Another couple of tricks here. You don't need to buy ribeye or filet mignon or your best cuts. Their flavors are due to the amount of fat, and you're going to mix in fat or make it fatty, so don't worry about that. And don't worry about using a tough cut. You can use rump. You can use sirloin, which is a little tough. Because by grinding it, you're essentially pre-chewing it. It's, it's not going to be tough. I mean, if you've had a tough burger, it's because somebody has either oversalted the interior or they overwork it. Now, when you get your burger and you're making your patties or you're making your balls for making smash burgers, don't work it too hard. You want air pockets in there to hold the juices, to hold the fat when it melts. So don't overwork it. They make these little gadgets that you can, they're forms, and you can, put the ground beef in there and press down on it.
I
and
have
makes
one of
exactly
those.
Perfect. Pardon?
I have one of those from Lem Products. It's a great a great burger press.
They make burgers very uniform, and that's nice because when you're cooking them, you want to know how much they weigh, how long they to get your timing right. But if you press those guys too hard, you're pushing out a lot of the air pockets, and you want to keep some air pockets in there if you can. You don't want to overwork them. Let's see, what else did I'm looking at some notes I took.
Burger glop recipe. What is that?
It may be the best recipe on AmazingRibs.com.
Oh, wow.
It is my secret sauce, but it's no secret. And your basic secret sauces from McDonald's and everywhere are a blend of ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard, and so on. That's where I start. There's a couple of other fun things in there, but the secret ingredient is I substitute a Kansas City style barbecue sauce for the ketchup. I mean, a red barbecue sauce is really just ketchup on steroids, and it really takes it to another level. It's really fun. Go to AmazingRibs.com, look up my recipe for burger glop, make up a batch. I just did a pint of it this week, and it works out great on burgers. It just really makes them shine. Thank you for bringing that one up. What else? Okay. Now, if you absolutely have to have a medium rare or rare burger or medium burger, and you are concerned about the bacterial risk, and you should be, there's a trick to get there. And that is you can buy pasteurized meat, which has usually been radiated. The radiation does no harm to the meat, but you can pasteurize it yourself. You go out and you buy a chuck steak, which is around 80-20, and you bring it home and you get a pot of water boiling on the stovetop. Now, if meat is going to be contaminated, it's going to be contaminated almost always on the surface.
Right.
Microbes are huge. They can't penetrate deep into the meat. So if there's E. coli or somebody there, it's going to be on the surface. And it can get there during the butchering process 100 different ways. I'm not going to get into it. But the problem with ground beef is if you take a steak that has contamination and grind it up, now the contamination is in the center. And if you don't cook it to 150, 155, now you are at risk. And particularly children, elderly, and immune compromised are at risk. So you don't want to do Memorial Day in the emergency room of the hospital. But if you take that steak and you put it in boiling water for about 30 seconds, you have just pasteurized it. Huh. You have killed all the bacteria on the surface. Pluck it out. It'll be a little gray on the surface, but once you grind it, you'll never notice it. It won't affect the flavor, and now you can cook your burger to medium rare or rare if you want, and it's perfectly safe. Another thought. You don't need USDA Prime or Wagyu. I mean, you see restaurants, Kobe burgers, Wagyu burgers. It's the meat and the fat blend and how you cook it. And, the beauty of Wagyu and Kobe is that they're so tender. Well, who cares when it's ground beef? It's pre-chewed. So don't waste your money on them.
Right. Let me chew that beef for you in the form of a steak, and I'll tell you how good it is.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Well, you can get all your burger information over at AmazingRibs.com, of course, and from time to time we rehash this subject because, as Meathead and I both have said, we love burgers. I think we're both fans of steakhouse burgers, but you got to try. If they have them near you, get a box of Bubba Burgers. If you don't like it, I'll reimburse you the $12 or whatever it is. But, I find them to be really good. About 4.5 minutes aside, and away you go. You can obviously take.
I am writing it down now.
There, It's so good. You can find Meathead over on social media. You can find him at AmazingRibs.com. And, of course, the second Tuesday of the month right here on the Barbecue Central Show. Before we go, Meathead, one last thought?
Two last thoughts. Number one,
Right.
the meetup in Memphis is back on. We had it. We had canceled it twice. It was scheduled for August. It is now back on for March 18 through 20 in Memphis. Same schedule, everything. Just go to AmazingRibs.com/Memphis. The only conference in the world for barbecue lovers, backyard barbecue. It should be a lot of fun. We've got some good speakers. And the other bit of information is we broke the 17,000 member mark on the Pitmaster Club, and that now makes us the largest barbecue association in the world. We are officially larger than KCBS.
Wow.
Now, that probably won't last. KCBS lost a lot of members last year because of COVID, and I'm sure they'll come back and pass us. But for this shining moment, we are bigger than KCBS.
Look at this guy. Congratulations, Meathead. You can help further the cause if you are not a member of the Pitmasters Club by shucking out less than $25 for membership over the course of the year and have access to all sorts of great information and message boards and all that stuff. Meathead, thanks so much, and we will see you in June.
Always good to talk to you, Greg, and the Centralites.
There he is, Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Wow, 17,000 members right there. Look at Meathead go. Bigger than KCBS right now. That means it's probably 7 or 9 times bigger than NBBQA, right? Maybe 15 times bigger than NBBQA. Anyway, you can find Meathead right here on the second Tuesday of the month. I'll talk to you quickly about Kosmo's Q. Based out of Oklahoma, Kosmo's Q has been providing both backyard and competition cooks world championship level rubs, sauces, injection soaks, and brines. Their exclusive wing dust is also available on the market right now. Best of all, the products are made right here in the States with all natural ingredients. Kosmo's Q continues to break new ground in the rub, seasoning, sauce, and injection world. The results proven not only on the competition trail year after year, but also proven in the backyard as well. More and more backyard warriors looking to step up that barbecue game and take it to the next level. No better or easier way to do that than by picking world championship quality rub sauces, injections, and marinades. And that's exactly what happens when you choose Kosmo's Q. Not only is the barbecue game covered, but they have that grilling game covered as well. Whole line of products to help amp up that part of your outdoor cooking repertoire. By the way, Kosmos knows a thing or two about grilling. After all, he is a world championship steak cook. Head on over to Kosmos Q's website right now, Kosmos with a K, the letter Q.com. That's Kosmos with a K, the letter Q.com. As you check out, use promo code SPRING BBQ10, all one word. Do it together, SPRING BBQ10, and that will get you 10% off your entire order at Kosmos Q. All the products that you want, the injections, the marinades, the rubs, the wing dust, which I'm falling in love with more and more each day. And you can save 10% off the entire order with Spring BBQ10. We've run a little bit over. We will go ahead and catch up and then get over to the second hour. Stick around. We will be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And this portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard 2, Fireboard 2 Drive, and Fireboard 2 Pro. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck because Fireboard fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. Steve in the chat room. Did Greg, Mr. ThermoWorks, his restaurant steak, just give cooking instructions by time? Technically, yes, Steve. However, and I say this with peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Through the time I learned how to cook those Bubba burgers, medium heat, 4 minutes and 15 seconds. You know, those first many handfuls of times I was using my Thermapen to make sure that they were at a temperature that I felt comfortable with. And at that point, it was just time. So I'm giving you time now, but it has also been thermo worked. Fear not. By the way, I have breaking news. We have to push off the embedded correspondent segment at least another month for shooting the Ruth Chris plates at 500 degrees simply because the Ruth Chris here in Cleveland has closed. So I got to wait until I go down to Columbus next month at the top of the month. So, hey, we will have it, except it will be at the end of June and not the end of May. Let's go ahead and break for the second hour and abridged top, and then we will get to jerk charcoal after that. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is Chris Payne from Euclid, Ohio, and you are listening to Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
We ate 2 feet for wiener.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
Hey, just like that, we are into the second hour. You found the Barbecue Central show. If you've missed the first hour, don't worry. Recording as always. Podcasts available starting tomorrow on Wednesday for the first hour, second hour on Thursday. And I'll talk to you about Friday here in just 1 second. So you missed the meathead in the first hour. We talked a little bit about shrimp, and then we talked a lot about burgers in all forms and fashions and how to cook them and how to fix them and how to grind them and all that stuff. So go back and get it if you're just tuning in here for the second hour and you need some burger info, or you can usurp all of that stuff that we just put down on tape, and you can go to AmazingRibs.com and learn it all there. Join the Pitmasters Club while you're at it and help them continue their lead against the KCBS membership. Meathead just announcing that they are now 17,000 plus strong. So very nice. Don't forget, you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Snapchat /BBQ Central Show on Facebook and Twitch for a video feed, /RD Rempe on YouTube for a video feed. Still to come on the show this evening. Regis Newroar from Jerk Charcoal. So if you are anxiously awaiting a new to the charcoal game story, you would only have to wait another 5 minutes, 7 minutes or so. And we will talk to Regis about getting into that charcoal game and how it all happened. Again, programming note, be sure to join me right here at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, as I will be joined by the event manager of the World Series of Barbecue, our friend Emily Park. She will be here to announce the 9 finalists for the 2021 Barbecue Hall of Fame. Then, 2 weeks after that, on the 26th, we will find each other reconvening. We will do it live and announce who will make up the class of 2021 Barbecue Hall of Fame, and that will include the 3 names that are voted on out of that final 9, making up the 3 members of 2021 Barbecue Hall of Fame, and then there will also be a number of legacy members that are going to get voted in as well. Not sure what that number is going to look like, but there will be both the, let's call them, living 2021 Barbecue Hall of Fame members and then the legacy category members as well. Very exciting. Very exclusive to the Barbecue Central show, and very honored that the American Royal continues to partner with the show to make these announcements. So be sure to set your alarms for 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for the first of 2 parts as the 2021 Barbecue Hall of Fame continues to march on this year. Don't forget, you can sign up for the Barbecue Central Show podcast feed, and Friday you will get episode 176, taking you back to May 21st, 2013. this episode featuring me remembering a barbecue legend and a barbecue Hall of Famer by the name of John Willingham. So through the instant chat feedback, does anybody know John Willingham? Does that name ring a bell? Do you know why you would want to know John Willingham? Do you know claims to fame of John Willingham? It's a name that, especially in the beginnings of all this, 70s and 80s, 90s, John Willingham was a name that was widely recognized and known. I'm just wondering for the new folks coming into it if that's a name that rings a bell or if it's just a name that you're hearing for the first time. John Willingham was a almost unrivaled competitor as you do Google research on him. A lot of people still think that he is the best competition barbecue cook to have graced the competition circuit, certainly up for debate. And in this particular instance, I remember John, who had passed away just, weeks before or days before that episode on the 21st in 2013. But I also talk about fielding a phone call from John in 2006 or so. And we talked for, I don't know if it was 15 or 20 minutes. And he was very interested in hearing about what I was doing in the podcasting. And I don't even think I was doing live shows at that point. So just podcasting, and he was very interested in. Here's the terrible thing, and I have to be completely transparent on this. As I was listening back to this, I always listen, well, most of the time I listen to the shows in advance. I told John, I called him up, I said, hey, John, you know what? I don't remember taking the phone call from John Willingham. I'm embarrassed to say it. I hate to say it. I don't remember having that phone call. I don't remember the fact that we talked for 15 minutes, that he was asking a lot. I mean, vaguely, but I don't remember really taking that phone call. And it just breaks my heart knowing who John was and the Wham cooker that he brought to market and all that fun stuff, that I don't remember that particular thing, which of course led me to believe, well, what else has happened on the show? And maybe if it was on air, I would have way more recollection of it. But because it was done outside of the show realm, it was just a personal phone call, that it just isn't resonating with me for some reason. So I wish I could remember that more, but I don't. But you will hear me recount it with fond admiration this coming Friday on episode 176 of the Best of Show. Email coming in from Rod in Cleveland, Ohio. Greg, just caught your show from last week, and I agree with you. Swenson's is totally mediocre. That's right. But in their defense, they are not trying to pass off their burgers as gourmet or even quality. They are just trying to capture a nostalgia market with greasy, salty food slathered in sweet sauce. Furthermore, the patrons that rave about these burgers are people that have never experienced Johnny's Little Bar, XYZ Tavern, Hex Cafe, Stevenson's, or the Raleigh Inn. They follow celebrities like LeBron James, who brags that Swenson's will deliver anywhere for him. And we've all witnessed his decision-making process. So to you and all your Centralites, Dickey's Barbecue Pit may be a national chain from Texas, but they are not even in the same ballpark as the top Texas barbecue joints. And in conclusion, everyone's palate complexity is different. Just be happy that you know the difference between quality food and hog slop. Thank you for writing in, Rod. Always appreciate you. When things widen out a little bit more, I'll be happy to share a lunch date with you for sure. You can take me around to some spots in Painesville that you've mentioned that I didn't necessarily know about. And I will talk a little bit further about the Swenson's incident last week with Sam the Cooking Guy. So stay tuned for that. I see that Regis is in the green room. So stick around for a charcoal talk before we get to that. I will talk to you quickly about Primo Grills. What do we know about Primo Cookers? The website, primogrill.com, singular, primogrill.com. It's a patented oval design offering true two-zone cooking. What does that mean? It means because it's oval-shaped, you can bank the coals off to the right side or the left side, and then if you don't want to put the meat directly over those coals to start out with, no problem. Just hang it over the part where it doesn't have any charcoal. Now, some of the round cookers will say that you can do two-zone cooking with round cookers, but I think we all know that's a little bit more of a non-truth or an alternative set of facts. But with the oval cooker, you can do it. The shape says it all. There's more than 60 cooking configurations that you can actually pull out of this Primo, made right here in the States. Precision-controlled manufacturing, highest quality ceramics. You can get any ceramic cooker currently available. Now for those product updates that I'm telling you about each and every week. The new Easy Lift Hinge reduces force to lift the grill head by 70%. Precision-controlled top and bottom air controlling allow you to easy and accurately set and maintain temperatures now. It's not put it to this pencil thinness or thickness. Now you can just say set it to number 1 or set it to number 2. Easy stuff. If you currently have a Primo grill but you don't have those top and bottom new adjustments, you can go to your local dealer and get that retrofit kit. Real easy to fix. primogrill.com, the website. You can also find a dealer nearest you. You can also visit them on Instagram, Primo Ceramic Grill, and you can also find them on Facebook at Primo Ceramic Grills. Check them out. Get that lift hinge. It goes from a 35-pound lift to an 8-pound lift after the fact. Can you believe that? Look at them in engineering. Love it. primogrill.com. And we are back to talk charcoal right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the #1 most downloaded barbecue and grilling podcast anywhere. The Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And this portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Currently available in 2 sizes with a host of accessories to choose from. Whether you're a beginner or professional, definitely a cooker you want to add to the arsenal. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com and let them know the Barbecue Central Show sent you. Folks, one of the most popular ways to grill has always been over charcoal. I'm a lover of all charcoal. I think there are benefits to all charcoal types to match the cooking style that you're using that particular day or evening. And over the years of the show, I've seen many charcoal companies come. I have seen many charcoal companies go, and only a few standing here the test of time. Tonight, we will learn about a new company hitting the market. The name stands out. Jerk Charcoal is the brand name, and I race to the hotline and welcome the owner, founder of Jerk Charcoal, Regis Newrohr. Hey, Regis.
Hey, how we doing, Greg?
I am absolutely fantastic. Appreciate you joining me, Regis. And before we get into the charcoal talk this evening, which will dominate, obviously, the segment, maybe a little background on you and what you might have done prior to getting in the charcoal business, unless you're from a charcoal retailing family that I don't know about.
Right. You know, and I actually had one question to ask you from earlier in the segment.
All right.
Which was, is if the moon were made of spare ribs, would you eat it?
I know I would, everybody. Yeah. I'd wash it down with an ice cold Budweiser.
Ice cold Budweiser.
That's right.
So no, I don't come from a charcoal family or from one who had procured charcoal or made charcoal their whole lives, unless, I mean, they may have before we started keeping records and everything, but, you know, I have grilled my whole life. I started out very young, being the young little pit tender on an offset smoker with my dad, making a lot of feather bones, a lot of ribs, 3-5 times a week We were always grilling. So it's always been a big part of my life, the barbecue scene.
So was it mostly grilling, like high heat stuff, or did you mix in between low and slow and the traditional grilling stuff?
It was mainly low and slow. We were big on the ribs, big on feather bones. You know, the cheaper cuts. Growing up, we weren't very well off or anything. So, you know, the pork riblets, what we called feather bones, slathered in bullseye barbecue sauce.
Yes.
And still to this day, like that is my dad's go-to sauce, and it has been for the 38 years that I've been alive.
Have you progressed in sauce, or do you find a nostalgia with that particular brand when you taste?
I stay away from it myself just because I know exactly what it is. Every once in a while, I will find some nostalgia in it. I have a bottle, but it's purely for almost to bring me back home because I am away. I've been away from my dad and my parents for about 8 years now. It's a good way to kind of bring him back to the table. Is just putting a little bullseye on something.
When you were growing up, was there a brand of charcoal that you guys were partial to? Was it Kingsford like everybody else uses, or was something else more regional?
It was 100% Kingsford, 100%. You know, it was, and that's the way I grew up for a long time with it too. Into my 20s, you know, I would wait for the big Labor Day, Memorial Day sales at Home Depot, and I would load up and basically supply myself for the whole summer, the whole year. Wait for that big sale and go spend $100 on, you know, 20 bags and get it going. And that's how I grew up. And I know that's how a lot of people still are. But this whole lump charcoal thing that I discovered a few years back really kind of changed the way that I approach my grilling, my smoking, and it's made almost, if you want to call it, strides in the amount of flavor and the production that I can get out of my grill or smoker.
Regis Newroar joining me here on the show. The company is Jerk Charcoal, jerkcharcoal.com, J-U-R-K, jerkcharcoal.com. You can follow him on Instagram at Jerk Charcoal if you are into the Instagram thing. I'd mentioned at the top or the intro, Regis, that I've seen a bunch of charcoal companies come and go through the years of doing the show. So first off, what draws one into the charcoal business? Where does that fascination lie?
Well, it almost kind of lies in necessity for me or just pure opportunity. So what I saw was I had a void in my life, and the big void was a passion, you know, a passionate career, something that I could provide for my family with, yet still get some satisfaction out of life. With the whole pandemic that we all have heard way too much about, it actually opened up an avenue for me to expand on what I was doing in my life. And what I was doing a lot of was cooking. And primarily with that cooking, I was grilling. So I tried to dial down on that. And that's really what happened was I went from really to, you know, start a restaurant or a food truck, and then dialed the whole cooking aspect down even further to, okay, let's think about barbecue because that's something you really love. And then I dialed that down even further, and it was, you know, charcoal cooking is where you are really passionate. And I just so happened to be experimenting with different charcoals over the last few years. I was importing them from around the world, just kind of as a side thing. And it really wasn't even in front of me until the heat of the pandemic when we moved to Boise, Idaho. And I found myself out of work in my specialty, which was plastic injection molding, right? Kind of a niche thing. And out here, there's not a whole lot of that going on. So I just kept going down. And I said, you know, I have all these contacts and I have these charcoals that I love. And it just so happened that the charcoal that was at the number one top of my list out of Brazil, this Brazilian hardwood, acacia wood. He responded to me right away after I got back to him and said, yeah, he would love to have a distributor on the West Coast. And going through the process of vetting somebody and all of a sudden being an importer is a big deal. It's a big deal. There's a lot of moving parts.
So what goes into that when you are somebody who is in charge basically of bringing something into this country that you are going to sell, something that isn't established, something that is going to be going up against the biggest players in the game, Royal Oak. You're going to be going up against Kingsford. I mean, there's no bigger name in the industry than Kingsford. You have those hurdles to go to, but then from your end, your due diligence, how do you go through and figure out this company is legitimate? They're not showing me one thing, but they're really just, getting pine scraps, and that's what really they're going to sell to me. How do you find that out up front? And then what's your ongoing strategy to make sure that those quality controls stay in place so you're importing the same stuff container after container?
So first of all, obviously you get a lot of samples in, right? Over and over again, you hit them for samples, and you're paying a high freight, but with the end of the game type of site, it's worth it. And so that's what I did. I hit them up for sample after sample just for personal use. Some of it I did send out to other people to get their feelings to make sure I wasn't somehow biased or seeing things differently than another, grill master or whoever backyard apprentice might. And when I started getting great feedback and I was getting great consistency, it really pushed me to that next level to where, okay, like I must figure out my next steps to make this happen. And going up against these bigger companies is tough. I mean, it's like anybody else in a market like we have. There's not over, but just about $1 million worth of charcoal sold in the United States every year, and that's all to consumers. And it's very competitive. It's a very competitive market, and there's a lot of high marketing dollars going into getting you, the end consumer, into buying his charcoal, my charcoal, the next guy's charcoal. So my whole thing is I know my product is good, and I just need to get it out there. And that's kind of where I have left it at this point to let's see what happens, because I believe in it and I think other people will believe in it. And we're just trying to make, a good product available for everybody who has a passion with barbecue.
So tell us how this charcoal differs from what's existing on the market. What are the benefits for me to bother searching it out and buying?
So it's a lump charcoal. Like a lot of people, if you're on here, you might be either questionable about lump charcoal to go for briquettes, or you could already be an avid lump charcoal user. And a lot of the big complaints that I've got are, there's a lot of dust, it's high sparking, there's 2x4 looking pieces in it. And so what we source from Brazil is 100% sustainable. It's acacia wood, which is an invasive species out of Australia, that has been pushed to Brazil back in the late 1800s. And so what this has done is it has completely overgrown their farms, right? They're big right now. They're trying to compete with Mexico for avocado production and everything else. Well, this acacia wood propagates so fast and uses up so much groundwater that it has to be pulled out. Well, this acacia wood, also known as black wattle, has been in use for millennia as a cooking wood, and it's not a prominent wood that has been pushed to market here in the United States. So what we can provide is basically very big sizes of lump that are consistent, and there's not a lot of dust. There's no mill scrap at all. This is all fresh harvested from farms and kilned either on site or in their main facilities down there. And it's 100%, of course, natural. And the consistency is it's there every time. I can just guarantee that.
What kind of a flavor profile can you expect out of this?
So it's very light and smoky. There's a little hint if you've ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse, they either use a similar wood or they could possibly use the same acacia wood. It's been brought into restaurants kind of underneath the radar for quite a few years, just not to the consumer market. So it's a little sweet, and it's very mild. It actually burns more clean than having a smoky flavor, but there is a little hint of something there, and it's hard to put your finger on exactly what it is. And what it is it's the acacia wood. It's like what you would call hickory or mesquite. It kind of has its own little sector, its own little profile.
Traditionally, lump is lauded for the fact that there isn't a lot of ash. Kingsford briquettes, for instance, if you're going to do an overnight cook, you got to go out and make sure that the fire doesn't choke itself out because the briquettes decay and they start to collect, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to worry about that with lump charcoal, but then the knock against is I don't get nearly the length out of lump charcoal, and it's inconsistent. Where I can count on a briquette. I know if I add one, it's this extra measurement of heat. If I add another one, so on and so forth. So similar with your stuff, or are there some briquette properties without the negatives?
Well, the whole thing with briquettes is, it's similar to kind of what we're seeing come out now because it was on a big show is compressed charcoal. So what they're using is charcoal dust or fines, and they're taking it and they're compressing it into a mold. So that's where you're going to get your pillow-shaped briquette. The hard part there with the traditional briquettes that we have out now, the most popular ones that we all know the names of, is you have to use a filler or a binder inside of it. And that's where you get that extra ash. That's where you burn a pile of charcoal and there's a whole lot left over. Now, any lump charcoal isn't going to have that because it's pure wood. It's 100% natural. It's nothing but wood itself. So our charcoal included, you're going to burn it. You're going to, depending on what you're cooking, obviously, but if you are going hot and fast and you're just going to throw a quick steak on there, cook your steaks, get it up to temperature, cook your steaks, shut off your air, boom, and you're going to come back the next day and you're going to have 50 to 70% of your charcoal left over, depending on how you burned it out. The whole length of charcoal discussion, I think, really is on the side of lump charcoal for length. I have cooked. I have a 55-gallon drum here that I cook on. I just got done doing about a 10.5-hour cook on a chuck roast in my 55-gallon drum, and I didn't have to refill with charcoal one time. And I opened it up the next day, and I didn't have half or a full basket left, but I still had at least 30% of my charcoal there to go. And that's the other big thing about our charcoal is we provide, I think, the biggest lumps in the game. So we have whole log pieces that can be, 10 inches to 12 inches long in a good 3 to 4 inches around. And so what that does on your longer cooks is it allows that charcoal to keep burning and keep fueling itself. And if your air is correct, your air intake is correct, then it's just going to keep feeding itself.
Let's talk about where one can get it currently and price points as well.
So we have a website out there, jerkcharcoal.com, JURK, that I will honestly, I am shipping from my garage at this moment. As I've started, our charcoal has only been in the retail market for 1 month, as just a few days ago. And so we are already in Seattle, Portland, Northern Idaho. We're in Boise. We are in California in the Bay Area, and we're got a few other places that we're expanding. So we're starting out on the West Coast because we're West Coast based. We're trying not to get too big too fast. And we're really trying to focus on the mom and pop type of barbecue shops out there to start with. So we're not going big retail, we're guarding them. And honestly, that's kind of the way I really would love to run this company and keep it, would be out of corporate America.
Regis, I hear all the time, don't want to grow too big too fast. And, I don't know what that means. Is that a situation where you're afraid that the product could be so well received that you're not going to get the product in time to meet the demand that the market might be causing? Or is there something else?
It's a walk or a crawl, walk, run mentality, to where it's not so much about not being able to get product as fast. It's about being able to maintain the standards of business that I would like to keep and the relationships that I would like to keep from the start. The barbecue community, more than any, is instantly a family. It's, you have a barbecue, you invite your neighbors over, people you don't know. You become family around that fire, like it has been for millennia since we've been around, way before we've been around. And putting it out there into, say an Ace Hardware or a Home Depot, to me, it can kind of really dial your product down. And I don't want to put that much heat on my processors down in Brazil that say, I need this much and I need it now. That's just one little part of it. The other side is I just love building these relationships with people. The individuals and everybody else who has come at me and used all these other brands and have tried my brand has really fueled my passion to keep it small and to keep it tight, and to really make sure that I'm fulfilling every retailer's need out there that could possibly be met.
So what's the growth strategy for you then? You said you're bringing it in West Coast because you're West Coast based, but I would assume, your main utopian goal would be to dominate the charcoal market from coast to coast and, start shipping overseas and all that other stuff. I mean, where do you see yourself in a year?
In a year, I would really love for us to be at least to the Mississippi as far as retailers. I'm not trying to push too much farther than that at the moment. I'm trying to have realistic goals. We have some people in Texas and Missouri and Nebraska who are interested, Minnesota right now already within 1 month of launch. They've tried the product and they love it. And so there's a lot that goes on logistical wise, especially right now. Everything is so expensive and blown out of proportion, like we all know. And trucking is sure one of those things. So I'm trying to make sure that I can keep the product affordable, and not too out of sight to the point where people just aren't going to be able to try it. It is definitely worth that premium grade dollar number, but there's a lot of charcoals out there that are way overpriced, and you're basically paying for a name. And I definitely do not want to be one of those. I want to make this available to everybody who has the same amount of love just for barbecue and wants a good product at a good price, and keep that value point there.
Regis Newrohr joining me here on the show from Jerk Charcoal, Jurk, jerkcharcoal.com. So it's just lump charcoal at the moment, and you're bringing it in. You're setting up mom and pop locations. There is some online retail sales for you as well. What's the price and what's the weight of the bag?
So we're running a 17.6 pound bag. So similar to your other imported charcoals out there, they all run on the European metric system. So we're running 17.6 pounds right now. I did just throw a coupon code in there on the website. if anybody wants to try, they can put in BBQ Central on the website, and they'll save about $13 on 2 bags. You have to do the 2 bags, and that'll bring you right down to 2 bags for $52.
And so we're looking at about $26 a bag with the coupon, and that's code BBQ Central at checkout.
Yep, code BBQ Central.
All right, we love a deal here on this show, so hopefully that moves some bags for you. Is there a particular spot that you're in now that really seems to be moving a lot of product for you?
Well, one of our biggest spots is somebody you know very well, Sam's, Northwest Barbecue out in Sherwood, Oregon.
Yep.
He's had some great response. We're also getting some great response out of Seattle, which is going to be Bry's up in Marysville. And along down the coast, in the Bay Area, we have Eggs by the Bay distributing our product. I have quite a few online customers who have ordered these individuals that are already on their 3rd or 4th order of charcoal. So these aficionados, guys who have been buying these other premium brands, have found value in this product, which drives me harder and harder every day to keep pushing this out.
We're in a unique time over the last 16 months. Pandemic hits. People are staying home. A lot of industries have suffered. Some of the food industry is obviously suffered. But uniquely within the live fire community, if you're selling charcoal, if you're selling cookers, if you're selling accessories, record year last year. It turned the year, and people have still had sales off the chart. Is there a concern at all on your part, or have you made the proper forecasting look-aheads to say, it can't always be like this, and what is it going to look like for us from a financial standpoint when things flatten out or normalize?
Well, Greg, honestly, we don't know what our forecast is because we're just getting started. So we have no idea of honestly even the potential. I have a number in my head of how many bags I would like to move every month to make this company succeed over the future years. But honestly, I have no idea of where we could go, I have a little bit of idea where I've been for the last month, but where I am now is as I'm still a hunter. I'm still hunting for customers and for retailers to just try the product out and give it a shot. And from there, I figure within the next year or two, it takes quite a while to get established in a community, especially as big, as exclusive, and as, there's a lot of people who really in the barbecue community, they find something and they like it and they stick to it. So it's hard to push somebody to say, try this. It might be better than what you're using. And not only that, but it might be at a better price point.
Regis New Roar joining me here on the show, and we're talking about his company, Jerk Charcoal. You can go to jerkcharcoal.com, J-U-R-K, jerkcharcoal.com. Try out a couple bags. If you get 2 bags at checkout, use promo code BBQ Central, and you can get both bags for right around $52. And so we'll see how it goes. We'll track your progress. We can get some updates from you from time to time, and we'll see where you at next time we circle around. So once again, it's Jerk Charcoal, promo code BBQ Central, and this is the owner and founder of Jerk Charcoal, Regis New Roar. Regis, really appreciate the time tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Greg. Really appreciate it, my friend.
You got it. There he is. Regis New Roar from Jerk Charcoal. I mean, who doesn't love to say the name just on its own? Jerk Charcoal. I love it. A lot of people in the chat room saying that they have tried it already. Getting the endorsement from the Centralites, which I appreciate. So take advantage of that promo code while it is available. BBQ Central will save you, we'll get you 2 bags for $52. Let me talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers. The one-stop online shop for all things barbecue, a curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies will get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. You like rubs and seasonings? Of course you do. How about popular flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, and Cash Cow, all proven winners on the competition circuit and in backyards worldwide? Big Papa Smokers offering 13 perfectly balanced flavors that will transform ordinary meals into extraordinary, whether you're looking to impress judges or your friends. Big Papa Smokers award-winning rubs and seasonings just don't disappoint. They also offer Granny's barbecue sauce. They own that, so if you're tired of what's existing out there right now, or you want to have a nice base sauce that you can trick up on your own, or just use right out of the bottle, it's great. Granny's barbecue sauce is something you're going to want to consider going forward. And aside from the premium selection of rubs and sauces, Big Papa Smokers also offers the very best pellet, charcoal, and wood cookers available today. Are you looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use? Check out that Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill. Big Papa Smokers, the exclusive Mac dealer, even offering special packages. Not a fan of pellet smokers? All right. Take a look at the Old Hickory Ace BP, the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer. If you don't know of what grill you need, call them. Why don't you? They'll answer all your questions, 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727, or shop the website, bigpapasmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA smokers.com. We are back with an open segment. If you want to jump in, let me know what you thought about the Regis segment, or the Meathead hamburger segment, or the Meathead shrimp portion of the show. You are welcome to do it, 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the #1 most downloaded barbecue and grilling podcast anywhere. The BBQ Central Show. Celebrating over 10 years of prolific and unparalleled live fire barbecue and grilling talk. And yes, it's still being done from Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Show.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Smithfield. Head on over to smithfield.com through the grilling season, where you can get recipes, tips, and tricks from world champ pitmasters like Chris Lilly, Darren Worth, and Ernest Cervantes. With mouth-watering flavor, no artificial ingredients, Smithfield Fresh Pork, quite simply some of the finest pork money can buy. Trusted choice of world championship pitmasters for use at competitions and at home. By the way, if you are a committed cook, go to smokinwithsmithfield.com and be sure to report your first place finishes, both on the pork shoulder stuff and on the ribs as well. That's smokin', S-M-O-K-I-N, smokinwithsmithfield.com. All right, open segment. We're all ready for that, of course. So let me dial in and call up Grandpa Rempe as we do a little book reading here. That's right. I want to do Grandpa Rempe, Harry Carey, but there's no way the pipes are going to be able to withstand that. So just know that I want to do it, but it's not going to do it. Instead, I will read to you majestically the next we've been off a couple weeks, and a lot of you have been writing in going, where's the horse meat passage for this week? Rest assured, the reference material on horse meat is being renewed here this evening. Tonight's passage, Sentiment and Prejudice. Wait, did I do that one already? I did. Tonight's passage, Processing Horse Meat. The processing of horse meat by the butcher is an art and must be done with skill and care. For horse meat, properly processed and correctly cooked, is as tender and tasty as beef, if not more so. But inexpertly processed, it is both rank in odor, strong in flavor, so much so, in fact, it is virtually inedible. Thus, it behooves of the housewife to select her butcher with care. Because no man is going to be out shopping for anything like that, right? No way. No self-respecting man is going to be out shopping for horse meat or beef or have a relationship with a butcher. Thus, it behooves of the housewife to select the butcher with care. That's tough to say. She should seek a man who seems naturally clean and careful in his habits. And she should ascertain, insofar as is possible, that he actually knows how to properly process horse meat for human consumption. This is so tragically sexually inappropriate. She should find a man, because a butcher can only be a man in 1952. Remember that? This is where this book's from. The reason for this is simple. The horse, unlike a beef animal, has numerous perspiration glands located in the skin and the outside fat. It is these glands that are unpalatable and which cause the meat to get off an offensive odor while cooking. Actually, there is no evidence to indicate that these glands are not nutritious or wholesome. But it is well supported, in fact, that the housewife who has the misfortune to buy and cook a piece of meat containing even a minute quantity of these glands will rarely, if ever, cook horse meat again, particularly if it is her first experience with the meat. To be properly processed for human consumption, every particle of outside fat and skin must be removed from a piece of horse meat. Careful, clean butcher who knows his business will do this so successfully, in fact, that the average individual will find it difficult to detect any difference in flavor between horse meat and beef. There's also another more compelling reason why the horse meat butcher should be selected with extreme care. For horse meat, unlike beef, is not. Andrew, you are not the fire. Is not U.S. government graded for quality. There is no prime, choice, good, or commercial grade to guide the buyer. Yet, there is as much variation in the quality of horse meat as there is in the quality of beef. Hence, the customer generally unable to distinguish a good piece of horse meat from a poor piece must rely on the judgment of the butcher. And if he's inexperienced or incompetent, his judgment will be no better than that of the customer. Folks, that concludes this evening's passage from the number one reference material on horse meat for human consumption, entitled Processing, Cooking, and Buying Horse Meat for Human Consumption by Leon Kenny, costing you 25 cents back in 1952, where we find it being copywritten. Next week, we'll talk about composition and cooking. I know you're excited. Are you excited? I know I am. I love a good horse meat burger, everybody. Wash it down with a nice cold Budweiser. All right. So there you have it, another rendition or edition of the latest passage of horse meat for human consumption. By the way, I saw this trickle through the instant comments from none other than horse lover, not horse meat. That was my mistake, Diane. Diane Me weighing in with this question or comment. I think your watch is upside down. Negative. Get that big stuff out of here. It is not. It is not.
Andrew, you are not.
It is not upside down. Now, technically, it is upside down, Diane. However, if I was wearing the watch right side up, you wouldn't be able to visually see it in this appealing way, like a regular watch or clock that you would see. If I was wearing it correctly, it would all be upside down. It would be visually displeasing. I am putting my own OCD on the line and at risk here as I knowingly wear this watch upside down for the benefit of all of you watching so you can see it right side up. How nice of me to do that. So technically, Diane, you are right. However, I do know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I'm wearing it upside down on purpose. Hey, who wants to win a book? I know I do. Call in right now for your chance to win Mike Lang's latest offering called One Beer Grilling. Fast, easy, and fresh recipes for great grilled meals you can make before you finish your first cold one. Mike Lang, he was on the show last week talking about it. As you can see, there's a picture of something right there. Looks like a toasted sandwich of some sort. Grilled cheese and steak sandwiches. Oh, my. What's doubly impressive about Mike Lang's effort is he's the one that also took all the pictures of this book. So, 216-220-0966 is your number to call in for a Mike Lang book. If you are so inclined, I am happy to autograph Mike Lang's book for you with my autograph. By the way, let it be known that if you don't specifically ask for me to sign the copy of somebody else's book, I'm not going to be so self-absorbed to think that you want that to happen. So then if you don't tell me to do it, and I won't do that if you don't instruct me to do it, when you get it, don't go on social media and say that I didn't autograph your book. You didn't ask me to do it. Don't take me to task there. I'm happy to sign somebody else's work with my autograph. But if you're not instructing me to do it, I'm not just going to do it all on my own. So if you want to buy, or if you want to buy Mike Lang's book, go to his website, Another Pint Please, and you can buy it. Or you could try and win one by calling in tonight and playing a game, a one-question game. It'll be fun and exciting. So we'll leave that for the balance of the evening. Let's go ahead and stay on the clock here. We'll do a quick read, the last read. Maybe we'll get a call coming in to give away a Mike Lang book. I'll talk to you quickly about Yoder Smokers. Yoder Smokers designs and builds all of their products in the United States, and they're building pride through craftsmanship and world-class customer service, that being the backbone of how they've built the company. This approach translates into what can be a truly bespoke style product that elevates gatherings with friends and family. They're honored to have a trusted place in the backyards of America. From pellet cookers to wood-fired offset pits, charcoal grills, consistent blue ribbon flavor has become synonymous with the Yoder Smokers name. Make no mistake, Yoder Smokers' flavor-driven design is unique to each style of pit, and the team members have developed their cookers to perform time and time again. While outlasting for generations to come. It's this generational thought that is rooted in the handmade products and defines the integrity of core values: American-made quality, endless flavor, the benchmarks of Yoder Smokers. Visit the website, yodersmokers.com, to grab yours today. That's yodersmokers.com. And grab your Yoder Smoker. Pellet, wood-fired offset, charcoal cooker, whatever you like. Grab them all. Why not? We'll be back right after this to wrap the show. Maybe get a winner for a Mike Lang book. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
Speaking of watches, this portion brought to you by Vortic Watch Company, a small batch custom watch manufacturing and vintage restoration company located in northern Colorado. They take antique pocket watches just like this one, turn them into wrist watches. Their mission, preserve and enhance the legacy of manufacturing excellence in America. In order to do that, they combine traditional and cutting-edge technology to create unique, quality, functional timepieces with exceptional value. And here's the coolest part. Each watch that Vortic makes is unique and one of a kind. Vortic founded on the motto that America wasn't assembled, it was built. Check out VorticWatches.com for more information. And the watch of the day thing is going like hotcakes. I mean, I don't think there's one that's available in inventory. It's listed within 10 minutes to 2 hours. All watches are gone. So if you like the concept and the idea and the look of having a pocket watch on your wrist, you got to subscribe to the newsletter. You got to check it out. They're releasing watches at 12 Mountain, I believe. So be on the lookout for that. Answer a couple of your questions rolling in here. John is asking Memphis in May updates. I know it's going on this weekend, that's for sure. So we'll have a new Memphis in May winner come some point on Sunday. Other than that, I don't have any new updates. Also, getting a question in from Penny Hater. Peeny Hater? Any events planned for Hartville Hardware this year? Great question. I believe, having talked with Danielle Bennett over the last couple days as I am learning Clubhouse, she has been contracted to go back to Hartville Hardware for their Grill Fest, which would lead me to believe that I might be getting reached out to at some point to MC that event again this year. Last year, I was set to go back before the pandemic hit. That obviously got canceled. But I believe September is typically when it is, right around the American Royal time frame. So we'll see how that goes. But yes, it is Pony Hater. Sorry. But yes, there is Grill Fest that is set to come off later in the year. So we'll see how that goes. As soon as I have more information on the Hartville stuff, I will pass that along for folks that are regionally located. They want to see Danielle. They want to get pictures with me or us or just Danielle and nothing to do with me except watch me host a live event for a handful of hours on a Saturday. That's fine. Happy to do that. All right, so no book winner. We'll carry that into next show, and we'll see what's happening then. All right, all the way back in the first hour was Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. We talked a little bit about shrimp. We talked a lot about hamburgers. And in the second hour, we talked with Regis Newrohr, who is the owner, founder, presidente of Jerk Charcoal, J-U-R-K. Jerk Charcoal. Go to the website if you are not able to access it around your local area there on the West Coast and Pacific Northwest specifically. You order online and you use promo code BBQ Central. You can get 2 bags for $52, but you have to order 2 bags in order for that coupon to work. Again, that's promo code BBQ Central. Take advantage of that savings and see what all the hype's about. Don't forget, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, we will be unveiling the 9 finalists, 3 of which will be voted on and make up the 2021 Barbecue Hall of Fame. So if you want to see it happen live,
We'll do it live.
join me at 1 p.m. right here on your streaming channels and platforms, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, or the live audio stream on the website link as well. I will be joined by Emily Park, and we will announce the 9 finalists for the 2021 Barbecue Hall of Fame. Very excited to do that. Then don't forget, 2 weeks after that, on the 26th, we will unveil the 3 folks that will make up the 2021 Barbecue Hall of Fame, and then we will also announce the legacy members as well. Big show planned for you next week. It is Steven Reichland week next week, amongst others. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for a special live edition Barbecue Central Show Hall of Fame 2021 edition, the finals list of names. This is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Hi, this is Frisky-Daw, the barbecue wizard, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.